Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of On Par with Parish. I am your host, Parish Hodges, and today my special guest is best-selling author Frenchaire Gardner. Hi.
Hey, how are y'all?
I'm doing good. Are you
Good.
doing good also?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So we are here to talk about your books. And you wrote a children's book called Mommy and Daddy, Do You Still Love Me Anymore? So tell us a little bit about that book.
Yes. Mommy and Daddy, do you still love me anymore? It came from a dream. I woke up from a vivid dream back in 2019. And my peers was telling me that I hadn't done enough to let my four children know that I still love them. So, Parish, I bore four children naturally while I was married. And due to circumstances with my ex-husband, my children were taken away from us. And so since then, they've been adopted by another family. And I don't have any contact with them. And I haven't seen them in over, almost 10 years. And so this book, Mommy and Daddy, Do You Still Love Me Anymore? I wrote it in one day. And I wrote it as a love letter to them. I wrote it as a love letter to my four children, Joseph Jr., Frenchaire 2, Melchizedek, and Sarai, to remind them and always let them know that I still love them despite the separation. So when I published I wrote the book after that dream, and then I published it on Amazon as an ebook, the first edition. The second edition, as I just shown you, uh, that came about 2 years later. I collaborated with my girlfriend Del Chambers, and she illustrated the book. Great, depicted the my words perfectly. And so the second edition is out as a paperback. It's also available in Spanish and as an audiobook. And let me lastly say that the global message of Mommy and Daddy, Do You Still Love Me Anymore? Is for adults and children alike. Is to remind them, this is especially if they've experienced the foster care or adoption systems, to remind them that their biological parents still love them, still care for them, and still thinking about them, even though they've been separated over the years.
Yeah. I was going to say this book can relate to children as well as adults.
Most
So
definitely.
it's for everybody. That's who the book is for. So but this is very personal for you. And was it difficult? You said you wrote it in one day. Was it difficult? Did you have any like breakdowns, or did you have any moments where you were like, I can't do this?
Well, Parish, I didn't. It was really something that I felt like needed to come from my heart. The dream that I had was so intense that I felt like this story had to be told. I had not even there's so many of my friends and peers that it wasn't even aware that I even had children. So I went ahead on and published it. I wrote it and published it the same day because of fear. I didn't want to not publish the book. I almost didn't publish the book. So that I went ahead on and published it that same day I wrote it.
What kind of feedback have you gotten? Because this is a touchy subject, but I feel like it's something that people don't really talk about enough.
It's true. The adoption and foster care systems and being away from family is a very touchy subject. I've gotten a lot of good feedback from even mainly adults, really adults who have experienced the foster care or the adoption systems, and it was warming. It warmed their hearts to have a reminder that their parents are still caring about them and still thinking about them, because many times I think the children and adults who have experienced foster care and adoption, they feel abandoned of some sort. And so I feel like this book really telling story to remind them that no, I'm not forgotten about. My mom and dad, they still do care about me. They do still love me. And I had had a publishing company, Lauren Simon Publishing. Dr. Johns. She wrote a riveting review on the book, and she spoke about how poverty is a thing. Everybody can't relate to poverty, but poverty has its effects on families, and so I think I've gotten a lot of great positive feedback from the book.
I'm actually glad that you wrote it because, like you said, a lot of adopted people they feel like that they were abandoned, and sometimes that's just not true. It could have been the circumstances couldn't have been right for them. The environment couldn't have may have been bad. Like it could have been, financial situations, people dealing with mental health issues. It could have been anything. It's not necessarily abandonment. So I'm glad that you wrote this, and I'm glad you've got a lot of positive feedback from it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I also like how vulnerable you are because for you to talk about your own experiences with it, it takes a lot. You're an open book, so I really appreciate
That
that.
is true. It took me years to heal and to grow to become the person that I am today. But I'm grateful, very
Mhm.
grateful that I've learned, I've learned to forgive myself in this situation. That is a situation where I had to forgive myself for the choices that I made with my ex-husband, and it's kind of twofold. There's consequences to your actions, but secondly, it's giving me an opportunity to testify, really, to testify on how really love still prevails through it all. So yeah.
If you could talk to your children right now, what would you say to them?
Oh, okay. Well, if I was to talk to Joseph Jr., Frenchaire 2, Melchizedek, and Sarai, I would definitely tell them that Mama still loves them. Mama cares for them. Mama miss them every day. I think about you every day. And there's not a day that I'm not thinking about you. And everything I'm doing is for you. So I just look forward to when you get of age and you're emancipated from the system. And I hope that you come and find me right here in Dallas, Texas, or wherever I am at the time.
That's oh my, that was a beautiful message. And I know it has to be hard on you every day, but the fact that you keep pushing is really inspiring. It
Yes,
really
it's
is.
hard. It is hard, but that's just life, right? Life throws us a lot of curveballs and hard
Yeah.
times, and it's up to us on how we choose to react and respond to these challenges. Which leads me to I want to tell you about this other book, uh, Finding Joy in the Journey, Volume 2, which and it's healthy ways to find joy during difficult times, and it's a 90-day devotional.
Okay.
And so
Ah,
yes, so this book, I testify, and not only do I testify, but 90 authors, we testify how, yes, you're going to go through these difficult times in life, but you can still live in joy. You still can, rise above the tragedies and the tough times and find joy.
yeah, you can. Everybody done been through some tough times and they felt like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I just want to give up. No, it may take a while, but things will get better. But you can't just stop. You have to keep working towards it. So, and I was
Yeah.
actually going to ask you about that book because I saw it. Yeah, I saw that. So, do you
Yeah,
have you started on like your next book?
I have. Uh, the
Oh,
next the next book is written, is edited, and just now I just need to collaborate with my illustrator. I'm get back with Dell Chambers, and she's going to illustrate this one. So we're gonna see what round two is like. It'll be another children's book.
Oh, tell us a little bit about. I know you can't say much, but a
Okay.
little.
Well, the title, I'll just say that the book is about sharing. It's about community and sharing, and not being selfish. So it's a book to teach the children about sharing, community, what is it, haves and have nots type deal.
Okay. So before you were an author, you were a business owner and a real estate agent, correct?
I was an insurance agent and I was a landlord. I owned a property.
Oh, wow. What made you, well, do you still do it or did you just switch to full-time author?
Well, I'm an author now. I end up selling the property.
So
It was
just a
too much work.
full-time author now? It was,
It was
oh,
too much
yeah.
work.
Yeah. Okay, so you said you've already finished your next book, so we all need to be on the lookout for that. I also wanted to ask you about something else. It's called Single Save Struggle, the Struggle Continues. Is that different or is it a part of finding joy in the journey?
That's a different book. So
Okay.
I have penned the children's book and four other collaboration books. So I have a chapter in four other books. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So the Single Save Struggle, the Struggle Continues, is an audiobook series. And Angie B Productions, they presented that opportunity while we were in production on Finding Joy in the Journey, because Angie B, she was one of the authors in the book, in the
Mhm.
book as well. And so she asked the 90 authors, did we want to be part of her projects and during the same time. And I was like, okay, cool. So the Single Save Struggle, the Struggle Continues, is a is eight authors telling their pandemic stories. So like I'm just running down like all the stuff I did in the during the pandemic, like while we were in isolation, and the emotions I felt. And so it's kind of a wild story because it's eight people telling their different experiences. And the what's kind of original about this is it's just only on as an audiobook. It's not in print.
Mhm. So I believe all these books are on Amazon, correct?
Well, are they? They might be. Okay, Finding Joy in the Journey. You can find it on Amazon, but I prefer it if you bought it from author Frenchaire
Okay.
strikingly.com. That's my website. And then that's for Finding Joy in the Journey. Uh, Mommy and Daddy, Do You Still Love Me is on Amazon. So you can purchase that on Amazon, or you can get your signed copies directly from me at Frenchaire.com. We do have the Spanish copy as well as available on Amazon. And both of these are also available in Kindle. And then I have another, the latest collaboration book that I wrote in is called The Strategy and Struggle. And Parish, the strategy and struggle is five women entrepreneurs telling their business stories from successes and struggles. And so that book is only online. It's an ebook, and it's online on different platforms. I'd have to send you the links. And then lastly, I penned a chapter in Gold Nuggets for Entrepreneurs, Lessons That Can Change Your Life. And this actually is an international #1 Amazon bestseller. And I'm grateful for Vicky Esther Chang, all the way in Singapore. She is a podcaster as well. And since 2021, we've been going back and forth on being on each other's shows. And when she decided to come up with this book project, she invited me to write a chapter in it. So my chapter that I wrote about was Black businesses in America. And I take you back through the history of Black businesses here in America. And then I talk about some of our struggles. I
Mhm.
also I also drop a ton of advice and knowledge and tips and resources for any business owner, black, white, no matter what race you are, just as a business owner, just all of it. Basically, everything that I've learned over the years as being a business owner and going to different, meetings, conferences, virtual
Mhm.
learning tools. I've been, putting all of that together, and I dropped what I know in that chapter. And there's 11 authors in that project, and we all, talk from our own expertise. Podcasting as a business is one of the chapters. Knowing your why. Also, another good chapter is how God plays a part in business. So that was a real interesting book, and that book is available on Amazon as well.
Okay. So, are you still doing your podcast and news you can use?
Yes, I am. I
So I
knew
really like the name. That name is yeah.
a news you can use podcast. Yes, I just dropped an episode probably last week.
I gotta check it out then.
I will
I
send you the link.
thank you. So I also want to ask you, do you have any virtual seminars coming up?
I don't have any virtual seminars. I I tried some virtual seminars when I was in St. Louis. I haven't really had any success with it. So I have, once I can figure out how to have some success, bring a lot of, it's I'm not gonna say it's hard, but it's a challenge to bring people
Mhm.
to the internet, and to
Yeah,
your particular space. So
yeah.
I haven't figured out how to get that going yet, but I do have some in-person events coming up this month.
Okay. Are they in Texas?
They
Are
are
they
in
all
Texas, yes.
okay? So that means I won't get to go, but it's okay. It's okay.
Oh,
Maybe one day. Maybe one day. I have been to Dallas a few times. Maybe when I come back, you'll be doing an event.
that'd be lovely. Where are you located?
So I live in Tennessee in Murfreesboro. It's right outside of Nashville.
Okay, I'm familiar.
Well, I cannot wait to see your next book. So, is there anything else you want to add? Do you have any last words?
Oh yes, I would like to invite everybody to check out my podcast, a news you can use podcast. I promote Black business owners to the across the diaspora, and because I think it's really important, like what you're doing with me. I think it's a really important thing because a lot of times we are, as Black business owners, are doing really some impactful things in our communities, but nobody knows about it because
Yeah.
the mainstream media is not talking about it. So
Mhm.
you want a podcast where you can connect with other Black business owners doing things all across the world. Tap into my podcast, a news you can use podcast. It streams all over. Wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon, wherever you want to listen to it. And secondly, I want to invite you, if you are in Dallas, Texas, if you are a local listener in Dallas, Texas, I invite you to come out this Sunday, July 23rd, at Half Price Bookstore on Northwest Highway. I'll be there selling my books at the local Arthur series from 1 to 3 p.m. And then the following Sunday, I'll be in sunny South Dallas at the South Dallas Food Park from 12 to 5 p.m. Check me out. And Parish, the last thing I want to say is stay encouraged. I want to say it to you and your listeners. Stay encouraged. Hard times are going to come, but keep pressing forward. If you don't know why you're here on this planet, get to figuring that out because
Mhm.
it's integral that you start living in your passions and purposes. Why? Why? Because there are people like me and you that need to be touched by you. Everybody put on this earth with a purpose and a plan, and as a result, it's people that we are supposed to impact. And if we never get on our plan, those people will suffer just that little bit because your shine didn't hit they spot.
Before we end this interview, your shirt has caught my attention. So what does it say?
Okay. This is one of my brother's shirts. It says, "Brothers not niggas."
Ah, I like
On the
that.
on the back it says, "Sisters not bitches." I hope I can cuss. I done already said it now.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's what it says. And this is his mission. Brother Glenn Avery. Check him out.